I could give you lots of numbers that will tell you how desperate the financial situation is for schools, but plenty have tried that before and the message did not seem to hit home. So instead, let me tell you how the huge hole in the school's budget will change your child's day at school. Most schools spend around 3/4 of their budget on teaching staff. In the best case scenarios, staff that leave or retire and not being replaced. In the worst case scenarios, many schools are making redundancies. Fewer teachers means larger class sizes. So your child will probably soon be one pupil in a class of 35 or even more. Your child's teacher may also have had some of their non-teaching time taken away from them to make up for the shortfall in teachers. This will leave them with far less time to plan great lessons for your child and mark their work and give them good feedback. This also means that your child's teacher will also more likely be working beyond their capacity, leading to stress and anxiety. Teachers always strive to be professional, but this stress and anxiety may spill over into your child's classroom life. It may be that very soon your child's teacher will decide enough is enough and leave. With wages being frozen and a large increase in workload, many teachers are making that choice. There are also a shortage of new applicants to the profession. There are thousands of amazing teachers in the country, but with the national shortage of teachers, the chances of your child's teacher being an unqualified teacher, or not being a subject specialist, or barely meeting the teaching standards are increased, especially in the core subject areas, and particularly in maths. Do you remember the wonderful smell of new textbooks? Your child will probably never smell that scent, as new textbooks and other new classroom resources can no longer be afforded. Many schools can no longer afford to subscribe to library services, and the local authority has to come and remove books from shelves. If your child is used to seeing a teaching assistant in the classroom, this will become a far rarer occurrence. In many schools, classroom support is only being offered to the pupils with the most extreme needs. This again increases the workload and stress for your child's teachers. With money being saved in catering, the quality of your child's school meal will further diminish. With fewer canteen staff, the lunch queue will be even longer. With fewer site staff and less money for repairs, the building where your child spends their childhood will be increasingly difficult to maintain. With few administrative staff, it will be harder for you and the teachers to get clear information about how your child is progressing. Other services that your school provided that you might have taken for granted are also disappearing. Careers advice, work experience, counselling, extracurricular activities, because there is simply no spare money to run them. One head teacher said that they are now being faced by making decisions between on one hand, is disastrous for children in their school, and on the other hand, harms the children in their school. Faced with having to set deficit budgets, having to increase class sizes, and being forced to make their trusted colleagues redundant, many head teachers are simply throwing in the towel and resigning. Just as there is a shortage of classroom teachers, there is a shortage of school leaders. With a greater chance of poor leadership, there is a greater chance of standards slipping in your child's school in future years. And this is all at a time when the government are overhauling SATs and GCSE exams, with content and questions that are so challenging that it makes university professors weep, with grading systems that not even the exam boards can explain clearly. So when your child comes home from school, remember they have been taught in large classes by anxious and stressed teachers who are teaching your child to pass impossible exams with no new resources to do it on a barely nutritious lunch in buildings that can't be maintained properly. Perhaps you should give them a hug and then go and write a letter to your local MP.